Okay. These guys are just standing there, nothing to interact with. Okay. Opiomaniac. The Opiomaniac's wallet is still hanging like a ripe fruit out of his pocket. 47% chance. Nah, better not. With my luck recently, I just don't see it. Incense pot. It burns, but I never see anyone light it. You know, in a game like Disco Elysium, I would probably pick it because that would most likely be a white check and I could retry it. But in this game, all checks are, you know, not retryable, so don't really want to do that right now. Let's take a look at the sunken area. Alas, I promise I shall return to your sweet embrace someday, pillows, but not today. Okay then, let's keep going. There's some sleeping gents, some bookshelves, a fancy fan. Are we ever gonna meet Clara? Then we could hand her that. A sturdy yet musty old bookshelf. The spines show such titles as Arcane Magic on the Eastern Edge of Ruin, Opium Through the Ages, and parlor games Love in the Dreamtime. Let's take a look at the fancy fan. What an odd looking fan. The design is Grecian in style. Grecian? I don't know. Bixby doesn't hand out any freebies to the clientele, and I never saw a fan carrying soul inside the den. It's rather strange, can't figure out what it might be doing here. Surely it's up for grabs. Well, they didn't let Clara in here. I don't know if that will ever change. I'll take it with me, and if I ever meet Clara, she can have it. There we go. Sleeping gents, let's quickly take a look at them. Two workmen, blissfully free of the waking world, as well as their meaningless existence. And when they wake, I should hope they'll be refreshed. Let's go with the positive one. No need to needlessly, you know, lower my hope. There's another dreamer. He's still there, along with whatever coin he has on his person. 47%, should I try it? Screw it. There we go, that works. And the fingers go walking. He shivers in his slumber and half turns over. A close thing. But that's what makes it thrilling. About 5 shilling I fished out of his billfold. Not bad for a minute's work. How much does that give us? Okay, we are still here with less money than we had back when we started. Oh, but that would be a good way to check if the cards just return to the deck or not. So if I walk back up here, this should be a lower chance now, right? That is... Yeah, it was 47, right? Or was it? Ah, whatever. Better not. Let's not do something like that twice. Let's go to the bathhouse. But I think that was 47 or something, so it must have reduced by some points because the 14 is now out of the deck or something like that. I think that's how it works. Still not entirely sure, but that's fine. At least it shows us the percentage. Okay, and with that, I think it's time to go to Cable Street. Let's travel there. The Sacred Heart Orphanage sits on a large piece of land off Cable Street, gifted to the parish by a noble family who left for the countryside. The street doesn't get much foot traffic aside from the odd vagrant, and the orphans make a pastime of throwing pebbles and rotten fruit from behind the gates, especially at anyone well-heeled. At the moment, you're one of the few people here. The ivy clings where it can to the chipped and crumbling red brick facade, climbing to the highest reaches where the church belfry is shuttered by pine flats. If there was ever glass, it was shattered long ago by a mischievous child. You step free of the morning mist and onto the curved street. The orphanage towers above the dry grass and dusty. The dry grass and dusty flat premises inside the gates. There we go, now I figured out the sentence. The landscape is even more neglected than when you lived there. Okay. Let's take a look at the grain sack. Can we do anything with it? This sack could hold a great quantity of grain without tearing. Quality workmanship. Yet you see them everywhere. Grain sack weavers must be among the most underappreciated artisans. Yeah, sure. There's a carriage. A pristine, well-kept horse-drawn carriage. It's hard to beat the elegance of the classics. Better to embrace change. This one's probably owned by old money. Let's check the compartment. It's not locked, but it looks like somebody else looted it before I had the chance. Yes, I remember that, yeah. There's a pillar box. Let's take a look at that. The Royal Mail Service. A postman still hand delivers plenty of mail, but if the distance is significant, an automaton carrier pigeon dispatches the letters after being sorted at the local office. Didn't send many letters during my time here. Probably none, in fact. There's a broken automaton. Rusted and cast aside, this automaton isn't worth more than his weight in scrap metal. The scavengers must have picked out whatever inner workings were valuable. And now he's just a shell. The poor fellow's really been through the ringer. Okay, yeah, that was also us. There's a team of horses. Hello, horses. Aren't you a pair of handsome fellows? I'm lucky they don't use Minotaurs as working animals anymore. Yeah. Anyone else or anything else that wants interaction? Rooms for rent? I should really pay off my rent, otherwise I might have to take a room across from the orphanage. How terribly embarrassing. Okay. Anything else down here? Doesn't look like there's much. There's just the archway. If I go any further, I'll find myself surrounded by workhouses, factories. I can't recall ever intending to get closer to a job. I suppose I could change that. All it would take is a few steps in the right direction. I doubt that most Londoners prefer to be out here in the black air. The cough alone is enough to make one wish for death. Yeah, probably true. I can afford to lose some hope. It's a living, as they say. There we go. Now let's enter the orphanage grounds, which is, you know, untread land, I suppose. We haven't been in there with any character so far. So I also saw some gears on the ground, which I will pick up soon. There they are, gears and cogs. Mechanical odds and ends. Yeah, let's gather them. One cog added to inventory, and the... Okay, it was just the game sound. There's a shack. Let's take a look at that. Splintered and worn down like everything else around here. Okay, just like that. We can't enter it, which is fine. Otherwise, it's just a lot to explore. Let's take a look around. There's a cellar door. I suppose the story will take us down there at some point, probably. The good old cellar door. I could make my way inside without a key, though. Though I'd have to get past that padlock first. Let's wait. We might get a key eventually, and if we don't, we can still try it. But, you know, don't want to accidentally ruin the padlock. Bloody crow! Coppers on the watch. Oh, bloody crow! Coppers on the watch. I thought that was that guy screaming. No, that's an expression. That's animal instinct chiming in, and that's an expression. Patience. I'll just have to use my wits to get inside, or scare him off. Okay. So we can't enter without confronting the cop. There's a stone bench. A worn stone bench with a modest bit of scroll work. I used to sit here with Eloise. What's that balled up piece of paper below it? There's a reminder at the bottom. Whoever is swapping out the mousehole traps in the cellar will recall that the keys are kept in the groundkeeper's shack. Well, there we go. There's a statue. The same angel from my opium dream. More weathered than in my memory. Okay. Twin 1 and Twin 2. Orphan boy, orphan girl. Okay, so a lot of people to talk to here. Two identical twins are speaking in lower voices. They look up and squint suspiciously as I approach. Hey, keep your distance. What do you want, mister? I know it's hard to trust adults. I'm an orphan myself. A self-discipline. Relax, boys. I grew up here in Sacred Heart just like you. Sure, let's go with self-discipline here. You're an orphan too, eh? What do you do now? Rag picker by the looks of him. Any road. Looks harmless. I'm Virgil, and this is Sydney. He's the ugly twin. Can it, Virgil? I'll beat the tar out of you. It sounds like their parents left these younglings' lives before they had time to teach them manners. Task updated the old crone. Okay. If I'd run my mouth like that when I was there, Franco would have split me in two. Franco, former priest in residence at the Sacred Heart Orphanage, rumored to be head of a new sect within the church. Sure, we just need a 0 to succeed. And that's a 14. That's a bit overkill, but I'll take it. I don't have a regular job at the moment. I'm trying to track down my real mum, and there's some papers inside Sacred Heart that might help me. Oh, well, if you wanted to get in the office without being spotted, you could use the cellar door. Keys in the shack in the yard. Very helpful, thank you. Alright, is that the same conversation? Bugger off, we ain't got time for old codgers like you. Okay, sure. Orphan boy and orphan girl. Ooh, what an insufferable bear, I can already tell. Couple of biters with piss poor attitudes. Don't be so judgmental. I was just as rowdy at their age. These two are mulling around the swing set, while the other orphans seem to be giving them a wide berth. Give me the dice, Horace, you dullard. It's my turn to roll. Shut up, Trudy. You had your turn. Horace and Trudy appear to be playing a game of dice. Chuck-o-luck, I'd say, though it's hard to tell. Perhaps the two of you can lend me some aid. Best stow your game before these bobbies get a gander. My name's Atticus Daly, a former resident of this fine institution. I'll go with the third one, I guess. Is that right? We never had a stuck drop in here before. Is that... Oh, a young bull or cow, okay. I bet the sisters were right scared of you back in the day. Ask about what happened around these parts lately. Spryness, perhaps the two of you know where the good sisters keep their records. I was wondering if the two of you could help me pull one over on Susanna. I need to get into the office. Let's ask about the records first. Listen, if you was here back in the day, then you should know that things never change. Why don't you nip into the shed back there? It might open all sorts of doors for you. What happened around these parts lately? Did something rum occur near the orphanage recently? So strange, okay. Horace, I don't think he looks like a copper. Now, does he? Never can tell, but he's certainly not a centaur. So that's a point on the scales in the right direction. Should we tell him? Yeah, why not? He'll find out sooner or later if he's sniffing around for long enough. Alright, dead of night up in the dorm, see? 3 big luggers came and nipped little Julie from her bed. So off goes Bertie chasing her. And so they nipped him too. Sakes alive, it was better than the halfpenny show at the promenade. Halfpenny? Oh, halfpenny. Okay, makes sense. Appreciate the information. Anytime, Mr. Atticus. Now that's a funny name. Goodbye, Horace. Not if we see you first. Ha. Yeah, watch out if we see you first. Might get pelted with a chestnut out of thin air. Now, where'd I leave that slingshot? Maybe we can find this, the slingshot? A gyrokite? Washed up on the shore and half buried in silt, a flying machine sticks out of the water. Let's take a closer look. There's some sort of mechanical artifact embedded in the machinery, but I haven't the mind for all that Engineering hoo-ha. Okay, so maybe if Teddy makes his way in here, he could get something out of this. Charoplanes. Based on the abundance of rust and errant hobnails, the orphans must know well enough to avoid this contraption. Oof. Annika Johansson. Wait, we met her before, right? Here's that cut purse who was mates with the missing orphans. Annika, her name was. I haven't forgotten what you did for me, Mr. Daly. What are you doing here at Sacred Heart? Begging your pardon, Mr. Daly, sir, but if us orphans waited around for adults to do anything, we'd never get anywhere, so I'm looking for clues. She does have a point. I just keep thinking, I'd been getting them to see how we could survive on the streets together. We even had a hideout down sewer, but when that monster started wailing in the night, they couldn't hack it. They came back here. Well, like I told them, they were sitting ducks. Okay, I'm sorry, Annika. So you came back here for looking for clues. Any luck? I'm sorry. Then everything with the ladsmen, and I couldn't check up on them like I should, and now they're gone. Poor kids. So you came back here to look for clues. Any luck? I've already made some headway. I pressured the other orphans, and now I'm pretty sure it was Molly's goons who took them. That sounds far-fetched. You'll have to give me more than that. But why would Molly be sending her thugs after a couple of waves? Yeah, let's ask the second one. Look, I've heard about other orphans going missing from the East End. They show up again weeks later covered in bandages. They can't say where they've been, and they're off somehow, as if their heads had been peeled back for a look-see inside. I hope she's wrong about this. Molly might have all sorts of plans for the missing orphans. It's all I know for now, but I'll keep looking into them, and I hope you'll do the same. There she goes, determined as ever to track down her missing mates. I'll do what I can to sort this ruddy business. See you around, Annika, hopefully on a brighter day than this one. Leave it to someone else. I'll do what I can to sort out this ruddy business. Okay, well there we go. Leo's memorial. Leonard Leo Longo, deceased 1868. Rest in peace, old friend. I wish I'd been around for you when it happened. I wonder what happened really. Maybe there are some records around here that would say how he died. Unmarked grave. This child's soul has had long departed by the time they were buried. There was no sense in christening them. Few things are as frightening as having nothing to be remembered by. Thank you, old crone. Perhaps a vagrant wandered into the graveyard and died. If it were an orphan, they would have at least recorded a name. Here lies some wastrel. Probably had no parents, but at least he was old enough that we didn't have to house him. Heloise's grave. A headstone sits quietly in the mossy earth. This woman was kind to me, no matter the dark thickets of trouble I wandered into. I'm overtaken by a chill in the air. What is that weird shimmering? Let's try it. That's a 7, I'll take it. Sister Heloise Lemel. She helped me listen to a deeper heartbeat, one born out of ether, possessed with the gift of magic. I might be able to bring Heloise closer to this world, if only for a few moments. Animal instinct, I have no truck with the dead. Go to your rest, spirit. Let's try. We just need a 1. We just need a 1. That's a 3. That's enough. There. I've done it, but her speech is rather faint, no louder than the rustling of branches overhead. Uniquely poised to deal with the troubles befalling the unfortunates of the docklands. For a flickering instant I saw her face. Not just the orphans, but the crowded poor of the tenements beset by illness, and the midnight streetwalkers so easily snatched up for dissection so that a young doctor might make his qualifications. Okay. And it always updates the old crone whenever she speaks. I should really look into what all that entails, if there is more to it now. The wagons rattle through the slums by night, and under the soiled sheets, stiff, suffering forms with no family to claim them. Easy prey cut to pieces in the name of healing generations yet unborn. Oh yes, that was her, all right? And the blasted crone. But the voice was cold and distant, the words garbled. I can't make sense of this anymore. Let's keep listening. It's nothing but my imagination now. Heloise is gone, if indeed she was ever here. Okay, interesting. Mausoleum, can we enter that, or is that... Judging by the engraved records, this old block houses a family of 4. Must have been the lord of the land and his family. They all died in the same year, a not uncommon occurrence in these times, thanks to the plague. The land was no doubt donated afterward to Sacred Heart. But what's this? A silver cufflink with a Royal Navy insignia and the initials GF? Better to leave it here, though it wouldn't be the first time I nicked something from the Sacred Heart. Let's take it with us. It's too shiny to leave. I suppose I could always find the rightful owner later. And maybe we can sell it? Like, looks fancy enough, but maybe the GF makes it a bit harder to sell simply because it's so specific. Let's quickly take a look at the old crone. What does it say? At least she's compassionate. Okay, tongue sharper than glass. The crone needs to lighten up. The crone hasn't gone. Okay. If she's really concerned about the plight of others, then why doesn't she latch onto their minds instead? Okay, I'm still very curious about what this old crone is all about, but let's enter the shack now. See what we can find in there. Let's try not to interact with the cop. Nobody wants to talk to cops. Nobody should want to, at least. Anything over here? No, nothing over here. That's fine then. Let's keep going. Stay away from the policemen. And let's take a look into the shack. Search for the keys. Dark in there, I don't like it. This'll just take a moment. Aha, the keys weren't even hidden. Right on a hook behind the door. I should probably return these keys later on. Maybe to someone in charge. Someone who might even hide them a little better. Any road, I'll be able to use the cellar door now. Okay. We can't put them back ourselves, at least not yet. Since there is nothing to click there anymore. Let's unlock the cellar door and take a look inside. Ah, the good old cellar door. I can slip inside this way. Let's go. No need to interact with cops. Always good. Always good. Through the creaking hatch and down the narrow wooden steps, you descend into an equally narrow passage. You hold your breath a moment against the cloying smells of earth and vermin and trail one hand along the wall during your brief sojourn into the dark. But soon enough, you found the second set of stairs and a welcome sliver of light from the cracked door above. Even with the high ceilings, there's somehow an atmosphere of claustrophobia, and a cold shiver runs down your spine as you survey the parquet floors. The wooden wainscoting, I don't know what that means, sorry, sits in silent testimony to the horrors that have transpired over the years. Despite the polished surfaces, there's a heavy musk within the air, particle that could never be scrubbed away. You can almost see the shadows etched into the past and recall the role that you once played among them.